Okay, welcome to this training. This is your trainer, Sylvester Ojobo. Today is a special section of question and answer data governance. I want you to participate, everyone to participate, because it's very profound. Okay, so who can remind us the last time we met and the training we had? Can remind us? Who can remind us the training we had the last time here? Yeah.
I don't know if was it data governance in practice, or was that a previous, maybe that was a previous class?
You're asking me or you're telling me?
Oh, I'm asking the whole I'm asking everyone in the class.
You must be from Nigeria.
In Nigeria.
Using questions to ask questions.
Yes, sir.
I think in our last class we talked about primary goals of data ethics.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, that's very good. I love that. You know. Okay, we talk about ethics, and we mentioned that ethical responsibility is a moral principle that guide individual or group of individual, in this case in context, company or enterprise. So it's so easy. There's nothing you have gotten by way of skills or human capacity. In display of it, you must follow ethics and value. That creates value as well. And if you can follow ethics, that means by way of standards, then you will ensure what is called best practice. So in this case, is data governance best practice. It's very important we get to know that. So the lapses that occur, the differential that occur between best practice and management practice is called SOP, standard operating procedures. So if the procedure is not in line with the standard in your operation from A to Z, then automatically then there will be shift of a standard and it will not meet up with your corporate goals. So in that wise, it is very imperative as professionals who have actually acquired such capacity, human capacity with skills and knowledge, and even have the same ethical belief with the corporation or enterprise that you are working in, need to always exercise or articulate what you have learned in the most possible reasonable way to ensure that there's best practice following the standards, and that is ethical, including updating. Very, very important. Best practice is always the most acceptable, superior practice ever following ethical standard that's superior to, that have produced a superior result ever compared with all alternatives, including updating. So that's why you see in the digital world, they're always doing updating iOS, updating iOS. If you don't, you will slow back. That's why some devices doesn't move faster, because they are not updating themselves based on. And once the operating software like iOS or Android in a higher version moving, you discover that every apps that are using the two operating system, in most cases, they develop themselves in order to fix bugs or whatever. That's update, and it's a best practice as well. So in the digital world, it's very imperative. And that just is Simeon's principle involving the context of what we taught last week. And the other week, we talk about best practice, we talk about ethics. Okay, but today I will attend to ask very, very compelling questions on data governance. And I want you to, articulate it. I think it's good to start with a simple one so that we can get into it quickly. All right? Okay. So what is data governance? Is somebody still there? What is data governance?
Data governance is the overall management of data that's available for use. And so in other words, usability, integrity, and security of the data that is employed in any organization, even amongst us, our personal mobile phones. So managing it, using it, making sure it's secured, and making sure whatever data is on it is up to date, just like you talked about the software updates now.
Okay. Right. That is absolutely wonderful. Please, as okay.
In my own way,
Yeah.
I'll say data governance is the framework of policies that ensure that data is managed, protected. Data is managed and protected effectively.
That's very good. That's a very good, definition. So, even though Polite haven't started with us fully from beginning, it's good that he enter right now to know what that means. Very important. Give you such an example of definition. Absolutely stunning. Okay, the data governance is the management framework. It's a management framework. It's a framework. We just we need to understand it's a management framework. Okay, that ensures data integrity. You know, I have said that before in my definition that I underline the word integrity. Very, very important. That ensures data integrity. So, what is the meaning of integrity? Okay, have you heard the word honest before?
Yes.
What is the meaning of honest?
Yes.
To be true.
Being truthful.
Yeah, be truthful. So integrity, what is the meaning of integrity?
Being truthful about whatever data is held must be true to form. Say, for example, you hold data about people, human lives. You've got their date of birth, making sure that date of birth is correct, where they live, their contact details. If it's not true, which is where sometimes you have people being dishonest by, trying to get credit cards and trying to get stuff. They don't use their real address and all that. So the work of the data manager is to make sure that every information given is true.
Okay, thank you. John, you just said some. John, can you just read out what you put on the board, please?
Integrity, trait of being honest, whether it means morals or principles.
Okay, so you said the trait of being honest is integrity. So honesty is truth. Why truth in action, truth at work is called integrity. Okay, you can promise somebody honestly that you buy ice cream, but if you don't buy the ice cream, you don't have integrity. But if you promise the person, which is the truth, then if you buy the ice cream, then automatically you have integrity. So that's how it is. Integrity is honesty in action. You walk the talk. That is called integrity. So when you walk the talk, people begin to now trust you, and then you have credibility. So integrity is very important. Putting that word integrity in a definition of data governance management is very important. Data governance is not a. The word D there is a demonstrative adjective. It's actually a definite article. It's not a, it's not infinite. It's the management framework that ensures data integrity. Okay, accuracy and security throughout its life cycle. Which life cycle? Data life cycle. It involves policies, procedures, and standards to manage that data effectively. So for data to be managed effectively and create value, you need policies, standard procedures. And so if you go for an interview, the first thing that will come in, they will tell you if you know how to prepare policy or develop policy procedures and actualize them as standards. Those are the things that will fall in your job description. Very important. And we have taught you how many policies, we taught you standard, we have taught you what it involves in data policy, in data governance management. Billions of data are being created every day, and they need to be governed and managed. And they need that, those data need integrity. They have to be truthful, otherwise it will be wrong visualization. And then that will affect the domain to which stakeholders, especially when they are pre-advised by business analysts, domain to which they take decision for their production or services. So very important. All right. Thank you so much for those who, somebody, your hand is up. Whose hand is up?
Myself.
Okay.
I must say in the past, I've never really paid any attention to policies in any organization. But because of this data management training, started paying attention to policies. I've actually started reading them in depth. Like when I resumed in my new job 2 weeks ago, I actually took the copy of the health and safety policy, the risks policy. I think there were several other policies which I took. And I sat down at the table, and normally they'll give you a paper, so sign that you've read them, and normally I would just sign them. But this time around, I went through each and every single line just to be sure if I could pick out any fault or pick out anything that will affect me in any way.
Okay.
And then the only thing I saw was that the project manager had the project manager that was on the policy was different from the person that was in the office. And I asked them why.
Wow.
So they said, you know what, that's funny. No one has picked it up. And I said, well, it's for the purpose of integrity, because if something happens here, the project manager stated on the policy will be a different person from the person that we have on ground here. So it needs to be corrected straight away. And they told me, thank you.
Oh, that's very good. This is where we're here for, and then we get it. And a lot of people sign documents that they never read, especially policy. In fact, especially when the documents are even written in a very micro, small letters, because they don't really want you to read it. They want you to see. But
one of the policies, one of the statements, one of the policy in there was that no matter how minute an accident is at work, it must be reported. Even just a finger cut, it must be reported. Because if it's in any way, it impedes you or it causes a problem to you working, and then you haven't told anyone, you can come back to sue the company. So that was one of the things I read. Say everyone is committed to making sure accidents are prevented, injuries are prevented, anything that is work-related ill health.
And it's everybody's
must comply with all, yes. So it's everybody's responsibility, yes.
Yeah, very important. Thank you so much for articulating that. Okay. Barrister Mani?
Oh, hello, Prof. Bishop, engineer. I promised to get back to the super class last week regarding the incident I had with the insurance company.
Okay.
And to God be the glory.
Yeah.
I've got good news for you.
Okay.
In fact, the insurance company that they said, I told you that when they canceled the policy in error, they said the quote that I had previously was about 3,000, 2,000 something. And they now said, since it was canceled, that I told them to cancel the quote instead of removing the Mercedes. They canceled the entire quote. At the end of the day, I told them that I want the recording and the transcript of the conversation. The manager, I spoke with the manager, they said there's nothing they can do, that they've listened to the tape, that the two staff that I spoke with that they did the right thing. In fact, on 3 days ago, the complaints department called me. She started by saying that apologies. Apologies. I've actually listened to the tapes and the transcripts. At the end of the day, it went back to what they said they could not change. Meanwhile, like I said, some of the quotes, the lowest quote I got was 7,300 and something, somewhere about 10,000 pounds. And do you know they compensated me? They asked me if I wanted to check or they wanted it to be transferred to my. I gave them my account number. They said the money will hit my account between 3 to 10 days.
Wow.
So what I'm saying in essence is that as a data governance,
That's correct.
you have to know your rights.
Very important.
When you go for an interview and they see how you articulate things, how you answer questions, how you are proactive, you definitely get the job.
Absolutely.
So please, let's take this class seriously. We're learning a lot.
I have to second that.
I just thought I should share with them.
Yeah, I have to second that. Sorry to interrupt. I have to second that, Barrister. Absolutely. You learn a lot.
Thank you. Thank you.
And based on what you said, I remember nowadays when people go for interviews, sometimes they tell them you do 1, 2, 3 different sets of interviews, which can be quite annoying. But the 2 jobs which I went for, I only got interviewed. Right there on the spot, I knew that I was going to be taken because I brought in my experience and expertise, if you like, from answering questions in data governance, answering ideas that have been put forward by everyone, and I was able to go forward with my own answers. And even if you can't answer it verbatim according to what they want, you just trying to put yourself out there using real life experience helps a lot. So it makes them even think that she might not have answered the question we want, but I think she's someone that she's one to watch, want to employ.
Absolutely.
Want to watch, want to employ. Let me not be sexist here.
Having that life experience, thank you. Having that life experience, there's nothing like it. If you can, that's why we always say that anything you do, each question, have examples to back it up. Examples to back up, they go a long.
And 2 of you are very good in getting from example that could articulate what you are about to answer, which is very good. With the example, you can easily define any concept. All right, thank you so much.
You always stand out because you're giving examples of what you've actually done. What you've actually done.
2 of you shining example, and in fact, very thought-provoking. The same thing happened to me. So normally they will have to interview, and after 15 minutes of mine, they are even telling me that they were giving induction. So
yes, and yes, I think to add to that, we always say that when you go these days, when you go for interviews, they don't even call it interviews. Let's have a cup of let's meet over. Let's meet and have a cup of tea. And before you know it, some that are actually meant to be 3. In fact, I always tell people that within the first 5 minutes, they will know if they want you or not. And at the end of the day, the process that could be about 3 or so, the first, they'll just tell you that, oh, don't worry, the other ones are just formality.
That's correct. So thank you so much for this insight, everyone. You're hearing what we're bringing out now. So now, having defined data governance and several examples have been, please always keep that definition, keep the definition. It will help you so much. It will help you so much, especially when you need to articulate what you need to know. So when you need to let people know. All right. So what is the data governance important? Why is it so important? This one is like you need to convince stakeholder. Why is data governance important? I need somebody, just one person, because we got about 200 questions to give today. Why is it so important? Why is data governance so important? Yeah, if your hand is up.
Data governance is important because it helps to make sure any data within an organization is accurate, is consistent, and is reliable across the organization. And it helps organizations to comply with any data regulations. Like, for example, we see, not like, for example, that's tautology. For example, we see GDPR everywhere. Most times when you're trying to fill out a form, there's always GDPR on there. It helps to mitigate any risks which is associated with data breaches or any data loss. And we can see this from a lot of times the healthcare sector, even in any sector at all. So it helps to mitigate any risks that might occur from that. Say, for example, managing patients' records or billing information.
Yeah.
If the organization decides to put a robust framework in place, it will help to address inconsistent data quality. Say for patients having discrepancies in their information, in their records held, or even in historical medical historical records held. Can you imagine that a patient who is suffering from some ailment is not sent the right information to the right, it's not sent the right information or given the right medication because someone has messed up their data? You can imagine what cost implication it will be for the health sector, and even the cost implication and even the risks to health and cost implication even for the patient themselves. Because there was an example I was giving somebody. There was a man who was told he had HIV. Apparently, his samples got mixed up with a different patient sample, and so when they told this guy that he had HIV, he became sick immediately. He was admitted in the hospital. He couldn't even get out of bed. He was so sick that people just thought that, okay, he was on his last leg. The next thing, they had another retest done on him. This was after some time where this man was suffering from this ailment. And they found that it was totally negative, that there was nothing wrong at all with him. This same person who was in bed suddenly jumped out of the bed and started jubilating and jumping and shouting everywhere.
Wow.
He does not have HIV, does not have HIV. And everybody was astonished because initially he couldn't even crawl out of bed, although that has to do with a lot of mindsets too. So, but data, back to the data governance question. So it helps to improve data quality. It ensures that data is compliant, and then it enhances security and policy. So having data will help to restrict access control. A lot of times when you log in with your laptop or phone, there are all sorts of things in place, either you're using your fingerprint or you're using your PIN number. So these are all ways in which they make sure data is secured. So this is some of the reasons why data is crucial in any organization.
Thank you so much. I know you provided a lot of so answers to it. So you actually almost finished it. Anyway, because we have a lot to talk about now, you can just simply put it this way, Barrister, your hand is up.
Yes, thank you. Just to add to what CEO had just said, there's nothing as working on one's emotional and psychological well-being. For the fact that someone was told that he or she has one ailment. Yes, exactly. You can imagine that would have just dropped the person's mood.
Absolutely.
So that is why data is sacrosanct. Data is very, very important. It's very paramount. That's why one is not meant to jeopardize or play with data, because at the end of the day, that is somebody's life.
Absolutely.
Some people could even die as a result of just being told that you have such an ailment. So you have to be double sure that this is what the diagnosis is.
That's why in some other countries where they don't have, second opinion and things like that, you will find out that when you go, in fact, I was telling somebody that the last surgery I did, I had 20 professionals, 20 professionals, consultant doctors, different doctors, pharmacies, all sorts, So that means data is so important. I just collaborate what CEO just said. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Just to complement that, apart from an answer, if you look at the chat box, I kind of put the answer to it. So simple answer, because of interview, you just say it ensures data quality, compliance with regulations, and better decision making by providing accurate, this is where we're coming from now. This is where integrity coming from, this is where integrity is coming in. So accurate and reliable data. So if the data are not reliable, it cannot be accurate, cannot be trusted. It lacks integrity, no value. So it ensures data quality. In fact, we must always think about data quality as initiative. If you are doing data governance, if you are asked a question about any initiative that you have carried out in your data governance management before, it could be your previous job or now, you need to articulate that quality, data quality initiative. Very important. So just to complement the kind of the answer you gave earlier, barrister, you see, someone who left this country to stay in Nigeria, kind of a country called Nigeria. I don't know if you people know a country called Nigeria, United States of Africa. So the man was having a problem in his legs, and they said they're going to do amputation of the leg. So that because he has a problem and they want to cut the leg, if they don't if they don't amputate the leg, then there will be a problem. So the wife now said, before they do that, the data have been filled. Before, let's have second opinion. And we live in London, and we only came here for, if we can settle back home. So they came to London. They did the test. They look at the legs. They have to treat the leg, and there's nothing wrong with the leg. So it was really terrible, the kind of information people are not reliable at all. They just want to deal with some people. So it's so sad, Right. Parsa, your hand is up.
Yes, thank you. In fact, this story you just told now, quite frankly, it was something that I was privy to because our colleague, our brown brother, was in the hospital at King's, one of the medical doctors that saw this guy. He was so ashamed. All the documents they brought were fake. This guy had no problems. There was nothing wrong with this guy. So you can imagine, in fact, medical doctors and solicitors are supposed to be number one when it comes to ethics. How can somebody compromise and say, oh, you're diabetic and your legs needed to be amputated, and you know inside of you that this person doesn't have anything problem at all, just because of money? You can imagine what this world has turned into. If it is here, this person will make, in fact, hundreds will be compensated hundreds of thousands.
Absolutely. It's so bad. Thank you so much for that. So don't play with data at all. If data is not reliable, not correct, it will cost individuals, in fact, so much. That is the risk and non-compliance issue that always arise when data have cannot be trusted. That's why you are being employed. Pay heavily for that. If your hand is up.
Yes, another common, one that we're beginning to find out is this data relating to DNA testing, that a lot of men, unfortunately, are finding out they're not the biological children, the biological fathers of a lot of children. So, and I'm just wondering that people like my grandfather who had so many children without any data in place, any DNA testing in place. I wonder how many of them were actually his children, because my grandfather had quite a number of children. So, but that's some of the things that data is able to bring out, proper practice, proper data governance practice. Those are some of the things it brings out.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So please, if you look at the chat box, the definition of the questions and answers are there. Please don't play with them. Nobody should say, I have not been told. So it's very important. So what are the components of data governance? What are the components of data governance? What are the components of data governance?
Policies, procedures, security, compliance,
data security,
quality management.
That's correct.
Those are some of the key components of data governance.
Okay. You can go further, you can go beyond that as well. Yeah. You can go beyond that as well. You remember people as well.
Oh yeah, very important.
The people. Because people, the data is the most valuable asset after people in any organization. Okay. All right. We have people, strategy, process, policies, standards, security, socialization, communication, the metrics, a KPI you use in measuring, then you talk about technology that you may use. Yeah, there are a lot anyway. If you have not mentioned, you have not included that, if you have not look at it properly, please, I have already given you, those who have attended the training, literature to that effect, okay? So please revisit your literature. You will get them. Is that okay, everyone? Components.
Training and awareness too, because without any training, people are not actually aware of what data governance actually is. So it's key for people to be trained.
That's very important as well. Okay. So what is data stewards? Data stewards. I've given you literature on this as well. What is data stewards?
They are the people who actually ensure that the quality of data is properly managed.
That's correct.
So a data governance manager could also be a steward.
Yeah, data.
It depends on what role. It depends on how much the company or organization is willing to invest in getting different individuals. So you might also be the one managing. Usually it's not the case, but you might also be the one actually managing the database, depending on how large the organization is.
Yeah, but if you reach that level, then you're supposed to be paid very high, because at the end of the day, you are the one going to determine the human capacity you actually needed in the enterprise.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so your role is to make sure the quality, the data has got quality and integrity. So to ensure that, you need stewards. Okay, so then we have different kind of stewards. We have data analysts as well. We have a visualization officer, which also is stewards as well. We have a different kind of data entry stewards as well. And almost everybody are being paid the same time, pay almost the same way. But data governance, knowing more about data analysis, knowing more about everything, then you really know what you need, and no one that you say you kind of bring in on board and they're doing their role and they're not doing well. You data governance, because you are acquainted with their roles, you're able to, direct people. So that's why it's very important that we get to know that. Okay. All right. Is data steward is responsible for managing and overseeing an organization's data assets to ensure data integrity, quality, and privacy. These are very important words that we must put in place. Okay. All right. Okay. How do we ensure data quality in an organization? How do we ensure data quality in an organization? In fact, I'm going to call names here now because I believe we have a lot of people here. How do we ensure data quality in an organization? How do we ensure data quality in an organization? How do we ensure data quality in an organization? Okay. Paul. I'm not saying Paul Lajo, I say Paul. Okay. All right. So Sean. Is Sean there? How do we ensure data quality in an organization? Sean? John? Okay, John? Can you speak out what you put on the board? Yeah?
I said identifying and correcting errors in data.
That's correct. You got to identify and correcting errors in data. This is profound. This is profound. One person just ran, and because probably I want to ask a question. Okay, there's no point, we're all learning. All right, Efe, your hand is up.
Yeah, I was going to agree with what John said. Identifying and correcting errors or inconsistency in data.
Other language is very
Things
good.
like duplication. When you have duplicate data, those are all some of the ways in which you make sure the data is clean, put it that way. Data profiling, you regularly analyze the data that you have in the place. You also, any information which might be missing from that data, which is data enrichment. Those are all some of the ways in which we ensure data quality is top notch. A lot of, if you notice, there are a lot of places there are a lot of companies at the moment who are trying to clean up their data, especially companies where we buy stuff from, such as Amazon and the rest of them. If you notice, sometimes they will prompt you and say, right, is this billing address still the same as your home address where you live? What they're trying to do is they're trying to clean up their data, because they might have more than maybe one or two addresses for you on the same account. They might have more than one or two credit cards or debit cards or whatever from you on the same account. So them trying to cleanse it up, what they do is they put in all these prompts sometimes that you have to answer before you can go forward in doing your purchase. What they're doing is making sure that data is quality, that data is top notch by correcting and identifying any anomalies. You find that sometimes you might even have a mobile number which you're no longer using. So they want to know if they should still keep that hold of that mobile number or if they should not keep hold of that mobile number. So they use all these constraints, all these kinds of rules, regulations to make sure that the data is properly validated.
That's correct. Thank you so much for your contribution, John. To Sean, you put something on the chat box. Can you just tell people what you put there, please, Sean?
To define whether the data you're acquiring is useful.
Useful. Defining what? Defining the first one you put and the second one.
Or defining the metric of usefulness.
Yes, that's correct. And
whether the data is useful, accurate, or precise.
That's correct.
To what you're gaining.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, actually, three of you have contributed immensely, because these are the questions that will come in. You just come. So simple. Okay. And proud of you people. And you see, it's a basic answer. You just have to say, by implementing data quality metrics. Okay. There's metric you set. Probably I can show you how metrics are set. I'm going to show you how metrics are set right here if you want me to. So you set metrics, have a regular audit, validation rules to know whether it's always going to be the way you have set it, and cleansing processes, which John also identified as, Ife also made known. So when you talk about inconsistency, and John talking about the identifying and correcting errors in data quality is inconsistency, duplications, and also other data quality issues which you may log in, either identify, you log it in, and issue the time that it needs to be resolved, time frame need to be resolved, assign it to a data owner and also data stewards, and look at the root cause of the issue. Could be inconsistency, it could be inaccurate, and it could be issue of unique, and look at the rating of it. If rating it is high, if it is really high, it requires urgent attention. If it is medium, if it is low, then you know when to assign such thing to be resolved. And if it is resolved, then you log it out. So one of the assignment that I would normally give is customer domain, platform, of course, of which we have some inconsistency in both addresses, numbers, names, and whatever. And then you have to resolve those issues. Okay, your hands up?
Yeah, I was going to say that one of the things that I find infuriating in a lot of organizations or companies is the use of acronyms. That is very misleading when it comes to data. Like if you look on the platform, I put BRB. So BRB to Generation Z means something, but to some of us, BRB means nothing. It could just be beer, rice, beer, or it could be box, rat box or something. But of course, so the younger generation, BRB means be right back. So, but we find that in a lot of organizations that you have so much acronyms that are going in a lot of organizations, and people don't even know what it means. So trying to put in the right words to fit those acronyms is one way of which data can get cleansed.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, but you have to identify you have to classify, because we have what is called metrics and classification as standard. If you have standard to say, you know what, this will be that, as at that time, now they will define it that way. Okay, it's very important. They will define it that way. Okay. All right. What is data lineage? Please take note of this question, because especially when you're a data analyst, you must know this. Okay. The lineage of data is relating to the history. The data lineage traces the origin and movement of data through various systems, okay, showing how data is transformed and used. That's called lineage, especially when you are using Power BI. If you're using Power BI, I see some of you here are doing your Power BI course right now. Sean, you are doing your Power BI now, isn't it? Yeah?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, so if you look at, you'll be able to trace the lineage of data when the time comes, because data lineage traces the origin and movement of data through various systems, showing how data is transformed. In that Power BI, you will see what's called ETL or ELT. So ELT, I don't know if let me upload my Power BI here right now, but let me see if I can. Let me see if I can. Don't know if I can do this one here. Well done, everyone. So I'm trying to do if I can open my Power BI, or if I can open it, then it might require update. Okay, if I can't open it, then I will. Yes, I should update it. I'm not going to update now because it will take a long time. I just want to show something that is possible. Well, collaborate. Okay, and I'm going to share it first. Can you see what I'm sharing, everyone? Hello?
Yes.
Sean, can you see what I'm sharing?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Can everyone here see what I'm sharing? Okay. Thank you, John. So this is Power BI. Okay. All right. You can even transfer files from Excel. You can transfer files from SQL. And this is Microsoft SQL. So you're going to have certificate on that as well. Okay. So you can get information from anywhere. You can get it from the web as well. Okay. You can get it from data set from webs. So this is where you can get data. All right. Don't joke with it at all. This is, if you are good in Power BI and Excel, company picks you to work very high. So, and as a data governance and a data analyst, you should be able to know this. Okay, these are various forms of, various where you can get data from. This is Power BI data set. They already have some greater data set already. Then we have, this is where you see, look at it, data flow. This is what import data from data flow. So here you will be seeing how data will move. You can import data from web. You can look at it. Excel, data hub. This is a hub. This is from SQL. And if you want to get data from the web, you can get it as well. So look at the web one. You can get data from there. So, and you can even query it, a Power BI template. You have more in it. Have more that you can see right here. So the important thing is that you know where, okay, it is loading up. It may take some time. Okay. See my SQL, C-based database, Teradata. This is another powerful software. This one, MySQL based, if you can know SAP, Business Warehouse Application Server, they have a lot of them you can get data from. You can get data from anywhere. So once you have them, you migrate it, and they will tell you the history of the data. Where is it from? Is it from Excel? Is it from MySQL? Is it from Microsoft Exchange Online? Is it from, when you begin to use it from Azure DevOps, or it says software objects. So, or the company can have database of their sales and their revenue, so you can import it from there. So you must have a source, a movement of data, the knowledge, the history of it. Okay, so when we're going to do the Power BI, I'm going to show you a lot of things. Is that okay, everyone? Hello? Is that okay, everyone? Hello, can you hear?
Yes. But
Now,
we can hear you loud and clear.
when you bring out your data, and when you upload your data, and then you begin to cleanse the data, look at it constant. For example, it can be whole number. It can also be decimal. So if you want all of that to be whole, that's a or cleansing. If you want to enrich it with a demograph or the kind of population from different countries or whatever, to know whether the sales of so is very good in Africa or in Europe, in Asia, you can enrich it with the demograph of the place, your targeted demograph, and therefore it to have more usefulness during the transformation, and then you load it to a targeted warehouse or database where you can now visualize, then have a domain to which you take decisions. I have taught you how you visualize data and which kind of visualization that are good for specific data that you really want to make known to people. Okay, this is how it is. You will understand data modeling when the time comes. So it's a simple thing. What we're going to do. Those who are on Power BI training, please finish that. But the different visualization charts are all here when it comes to in terms of visualizing. So the concept of ETL is who knows the meaning of ETL?
Extract, transform, and load.
That's correct. Extract, transform, and load. What about ELT?
Extract, load, and transform.
The same. So it depends on how the two can go together as one. But the important is extract data from any database, and you have the origin of the data. So data knowledge traces the origin and movement of data through various systems, showing how data is transformed because you extract it and you transform it. The other transformation is called, that's where you do cleansing, and then use it when you load it into a targeted database where you can now have ability to visualize it for its usefulness. Is that okay, everyone? Hello? Is that okay, everyone?
Yes.
Good. Right. So, what are data governance policy? What are data governance policy? I'm going to call those names. We have the youngsters who in the universities and grammar school. They are just giving us answer now. We should be able to let them know that you have it. What are data governance policies? Because this is going to be number one thing you will carry out when you are employed. What are data governance policy? And we have different policies. What are data governance policies? Have you heard the word policies before? Okay, I got to call names. Ramsey, I used to hear your voice. I hope you're not too busy, Ramsey. Mary, can you give me something? Hello, Ramsey. Ramsey.
Hello, sir.
Yeah. Is it good morning or good afternoon?
Good morning. Good afternoon, sir.
Happy New Year. Ramsey, I used to hear your voice vibrating. What is wrong? What are data governance policies?
Is the procedure for managing data quality?
Yeah, I love every attempt. That is very good. Really very good. So Mary, can you contribute, Mary? Okay. Ramsey, do you want to phone a friend? That's why. Hello? Yeah. Blessing? Blessing iPhone? Hello? What are data governance policy? Because let me share something quickly. Okay. Let me share something quickly. Okay. Can you all see what I'm sharing? Hello, everyone. Can you see what I'm sharing?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Now, what can you see here?
Data governance manager.
Data governance manager.
Job for
How much do you see here?
125,000 per annum.
Okay. Can you manage this one for a year? You laugh. Is that my answer, Palash? Can anyone manage this one for a year? Hello? Is somebody here?
That's huge.
That's huge. Okay. Now, I can tell you can earn more than that. Okay. So, really. Now, it's only one person I'm speaking to right now here. So, every other person, are you hearing what I'm saying? Can you see this one?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can you manage this one? Yeah, just manage. Yeah? Ramsey?
It's
So I can
difficult
see,
for
sir.
this.
Yeah.
It's difficult for this figure to come. I want to come across this figure.
It's not difficult. It's so simple.
Not to talk
I can
of
just
manage.
tell you. It's so simple. And you can do this job. You can do two of this job at a time. Somebody just told you here that you got two jobs. You think it's the joke. Online for working from home. You can. So this is it. And I can show you right now, when you leave here, go and check. Daily rate, data governance manager, remote work. Daily rate. You'll be very surprised. Between 400, maybe some of them 700. So if you are being paid £400 a day, all right? Hello? Is somebody
Yes,
know?
sir.
You are being paid, Ramsey and Polaj, please answer me. So if others are here. So if you are being paid minimum of £400 a day,
Hey.
yeah?
Yes, sir.
After this training, you should be expecting yourself to be paid more than that anyway, but minimum of £400 a day. Okay?
Okay, sir.
For 5 days, how much would that be?
2,000.
Thank you. For a month, how much would that be?
8,000.
Thank you. You do your mathematics very, very well. So if you pay a tax of £2,000, how much will be in your pocket?
6,000.
Okay. Can you manage 6,000 6,000 after tax a month? Can you manage it?
Hey, more than manage.
Okay. You multiply that 6,000 times 12.
That's like 90,
So,
90, I think 96.
6,000 times 12.
6,000 times 12. Oh, sorry.
What of
72.
72? That's after tax. Can you manage 72,000?
Ah, more than managed, sir.
That is the beginning. So you discover that this is a minimum amount, because if you add your 2,000, 2 times 12 is what?
24.
2 times 12 is 24. Add that 24. Add 24 to 76. How much would that be?
That's 100.
Okay, you see now that means minimally. These are all minimal. But people earn between 400 to 1,200 pounds a day.
Wow.
So this is not a joke. When I'm asking, I always tell people, don't come to this training if you're not prepared to. If you're not ready to learn, because I spend my time and resources. I don't want to waste it, because there are people who really want to. It's not good at you. Somebody, you understand what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Exactly this question my wife was asking me. Say, what is your profit for doing this? I said, maybe for me, it's knowledge you gain, and you just feel like this knowledge must not be with me alone. When she looks at the time, resource to attend this class.
So it's never a joke. That's why I say, when you can't be here asking questions, you're not answering, you're not listening, it's not really look at it. Okay, now look at what is the job description. Number 1, to develop data work governance. What are you saying here?
It's a bit small, sir.
It is small.
Yeah, I can't see properly.
I know you want to see it properly now.
Yeah.
What can you see here?
To develop data governance
Policies.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yes,
Policies.
sir.
Number one, they will pay you such amount of money because you need to develop policies. You are not even creating the policy now. There could be policy already created. Then you need to develop it. Complexity of data they're handling. They got problem. So they are calling you in, paying you highly to do what? To help them. The meaning of manager is problem solver. You wake up in the morning, have you ever prayed that, God, as I wake up this morning, let me see problem? Or
No, sir.
have you ever prayed that, let problem see me?
No, sir.
But whether you pray or not, you face problem every day. And your ability to solve problem will determine how good are you as a manager. So the tools in you solving this problem or policies, those are the things I'm articulating right now here. So number 1 here, talking about policy. Number 2, to translate data policy, again, needs into a serious action. You need to carry it out. It's not about developing it. Carry it out. Now, I'm asking you a question. What are policies? And I know I have taught you people policies, different kind of policies. Number 3 is design and implement appropriate data processes, policies, procedures. These are the things I just said. So you get all these things and you are be paying this. Let me just share. Let me stop the sharing so that people brain will not spark. I say, what are data governance policies? I have sent literatures, except someone like Ramsey haven't received anything. Then I have sent literatures to everyone. Don't joke with it. Everything I taught you, there are the things you will be seeing in job description, making some money out of it. By the way, if you make money, remember your brother in Sylvester. Not in paradise, they are here. Okay? So policies guidelines and rules that govern the management and accessibility and the use of data within an organization. This policy guidelines and rules. And what are the guidelines? I mentioned how to build policy. I mentioned the things that go into policy when I was training everyone. Okay? But by the way, when you are employed, if you have a problem in policy drafting, do not hesitate to get in touch, because we're going to prepare you for it or help you how to get things sorted out properly. Policies are very, very important. Don't you know policies are important? Hello?
Yes, sir. Very important, sir.
Policies are very, very important. Policies are very important. Maybe let me just share, during the training. For those who are just coming, you haven't been taught, but take it very serious. These interview questions are very, very important. Data governance policy. If you remember, I mentioned that we have data ownership policy. Okay, these are the people who defines the roles and responsibility of data owners. Okay, such as department heads and or business unit or whatever, and who are accountable for specific data set. Okay, and I mentioned also that we have data classification and sensitivity policy. So this policy categorizes, data into different sensitivity levels: public, internal, confidential. If you look at people's website, there are things they put in public domain, but there are things you have internal, and there are things confidential, only known to stakeholders probably or specific chief executive. Internal, you only know to some people, even within the organization. Not everything known by some functional department also made known to the other, unless you have to, pre-request it. And you also need to have a policy of pre-requisition. Maintenance department has nothing to do with NI of anybody in the company. There are classification and sensitive issues. As such, you have policy. Okay, we must understand this. I mentioned data retention policy. Very important. How long will you hold data? Okay? It's very important. How long will you hold data? The other day, I went to change a retention policy of, of a corporation that the chief head of data. Okay, I have to make sure I sign it off when it was changed. So it's very important that you need to get all this policy put in place. I signed the policy off and make sure there are data that ought not to be. I archived some, but I gave the stewards to archive some and also retain some. And how long will it? But no matter how you draft a policy, must be in line with what is operational within the jurisdiction where your company is operating as well. For example, if it was speaking about health and safety, the company can't just do health and safety policy when they don't even follow European standard or British standard as well. So you must also know how to balance your needs, and it must not prevail over the jurisdiction where you are, operating from. And that is where we have that is why we have one of our curriculum talking about real world issues. You don't take advantage of, when the legal framework is not strong. Make sure you have a one that is stronger in case you are called to order, or maybe we have risk and non-compliance issue and need to be. Do you understand what I mean? Do you understand what I mean? So there are different kind of policy, depends on what you bring in. Data security and access control policy. Okay, and we also have privacy policy. In European, we have GDPR, and America, we have HIPAA. As a matter of fact, we still have CCP, something like that for California as well. Okay, the GDPR, even the one in Great Britain, since Britain has actually moved from European Union. They have their own GDPR that actually really they are not too far from the one that they have had with European when they were in Europe as well. So whatever you're doing, you must be in line with what has been existing within the jurisdiction where you operate. So when they tell you that they are employing you, you can be paid up to 125,000, and they are telling you one of your job description is to make sure you develop policies, including retention policy and all these things. They are telling you that you must also understand what policies, what are policies, because they are guidelines. And it's one of the components of data governance, policies, policy processes. Do you understand that? Is someone still here?
Yes, sir, I'm still here.
Ramsey, yes. Ramsey is here. I'm happy.
Yes.
So these are interview questions. Don't joke with them at all. Okay? All right? Okay. Now, I think I need to move very high. I need to move. I think I'm gonna move to data analytics a little bit for you people. What are data analytics? What are data analytics? I'm going to close very soon. What are data analytics? So for example, I gave in my teaching, and I also gave you people literatures on data analytics. So what are data analytics? Yep. Yeah, if your hand is up.
Sorry, I thought I was on mute, sorry.
No.
So data analytics is the process of examining data to draw conclusions about any information that they may contain. So it's basically analyzing the data.
Okay.
And then this is used to infer or to draw conclusions on the data that has been collected.
Okay.
And you can collect data from various sources, such as social media. You can collect data from Facebook, from Google, from different social media platforms. You can even collect data from people or online transactions, any kind of any type of data source, anywhere where people input information. It's all to do with collecting data, and that is where we draw our conclusions. So this person likes shopping all the time. She's always on next website. That person likes shopping all the time. They're always on Amazon website. So with that one, they can infer and draw that if we put, say, for example, we put water, a particular kind of water on that website, that person will always buy that water. Or if we put a particular kind of shoe or dress on that website, that person will always want to buy from that website. So they infer or they draw conclusions based on the information they've collected, based on historical information they have collected about you.
Okay.
And that is that is also how they sell. During the summer, companies sell more light clothing, like kind of cotton clothing, because that's what people might like to buy during the summer. And during the winter, companies sell more things like winter jackets, coats, and the rest, because that's what people like buying during the winter. During raining season, people buy more umbrellas, so more umbrellas are sold. So data analytics is, they collect historical information about people, and that is what they're using drawing the conclusion.
Okay, did you just mention historical?
Yes.
Okay, so if it is historical, what kind of analytics is that?
Descriptive.
Descriptive, yeah, that's correct. That's descriptive analytics. Yeah, that is absolutely correct. Okay, now, do you know any form of data analytics? Can somebody else tell me another data analytics? Or if you can help as well.
Apart from descriptive, we also have prescriptive, we have diagnostic, we have predictive. So we have all sorts of analytics.
Okay.
We also have there's one other one which I'm thinking about. I think that might actually be diagnostic, because diagnostic and prescriptive, they kind of go together.
Last one that you mean, not just real time.
Sorry?
Real-time analytics.
Real-time analytics based on real-time scenarios.
Yeah, so for example, stock market.
Yes, stock markets. Even the cameras on the road.
Yeah.
The information from them are real-time. Because once your car goes past and the camera flashes, you know that they've already stored that information on the system somewhere. You'll be getting a letter through the post.
Good. This is why we must understand what we are being taught. When we say, what is data analytics? You know it. And then different forms of data analytics, that's what you just mentioned. In most cases, you represent it statistically by computation techniques, and then you visualize it, isn't it? So, and I also mentioned
that's correct,
ways of visualizing different data analytics. So you can use pie chart, you can use bar chart, you can use histogram, you can use even Gantt chart. Those who are planners, you can use different ways. There are different main line diagram and scatter representation, and you have draw line of regression analysis and that kind of a thing. They are very, very important. You know the kind of analytics you representing in your visualization. That's why in Power BI I brought out the other time, they have different kind of visualization chart, because they are good for different kind of analytics you want to carry out. If you want to carry out prescriptive, you are recommending. After, you can't recommend when you do not have either diagnostics or descriptive. Okay? Like in NHS doctors, well, before they look at your existing data, the kind of information concerning the person's health from GP, from that, and invariably putting them together, then you now begin to have a knowledge of those data. That is where the data set are coming from. How is it like that? What time frame do you have this data? And that kind of thing. Those are very, very, even in law, they look at precedence, and then if they will look at precedent, they will now look at jurisprudences, and let's see what you can put together, and then bring them out. Whether the people's name are being attached or anonymized by not putting name, we say A versus B, and so thing happens so time. This is what this judge have pronounced, and these are descriptive. I don't know if I'm communicating, because we have a lot of barristers here. If I'm not communicating, I think I need praying for. Hello.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, barrister, your hand is up.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear, sir.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say that each organization, when it comes to data analysis, just the way we have different theories.
Yeah.
We're talking about NHS. Obviously, for each organization, they have the approach or theory they will usually use. You made mention of, I remember the last cohort, we did exploit real-time analysis.
That's correct.
Speaking of real-time analysis, the example I just gave, I specifically asked for the tape recording to be sent to me. So at the end of the day, I know someone was saying that, is it really true that organization records when you call them, when you call and having a conversation, let's say you're taking an insurance of a new policy and things like that? I said, yes. So if an organization, you as soon as you start the telephone conversation, you get an automatic voice recording to tell you that this call is being recorded. Sometimes the staff, before they start, they'll tell you that this call is being recorded. So at the end of the day, if there is any problem and there are issues that you're not happy with, you can always ask for the tape. I think I gave in this class too, I also gave an example of when I was traveling to the States. I drove another vehicle. When my vehicle was stolen some time ago in 2010, I decided to be a second driver because the person I spoke with said the policy was going to increase so much in thousands. So I now decided to be a second driver. And I knew that when I took the policy, I had a conversation. In fact, the lady told me that because, they were asking for your profession. So when I said I'm a solicitor, the lady said, oh, apparently she read law, but she hasn't actually gone for. So the telephone conversation took more than an hour because I was advising her. She said anyway, she would like to be a barrister, So I now told her the difference between a barrister and a solicitor in the UK. Oh, she was very, very happy. She specifically told me that as a second driver, you can drive another car. But when I was stopped by the police at Heathrow, the police said, he's been practicing he's been a policeman. One of them said he's been a policeman for about 15, and the other one said about 20 years. I said, by the way, I've been a lawyer for more than 30 years. Oh, so I told him that, well, I always, in fact, when people have issues with problems like this, I represent them. So I wouldn't want to do anything like that, drive a vehicle when I know that I don't have the insurance. But anyway, to cut a long story short, I requested for the tape. And at the end of the day, I was compensated.
That is
yes.
It's very important. Thank you so much for such. If this example helps to articulate what we are treating here. That's what we enjoy in this. It's not about just letting people know this is society, when we do not have an example to buttress them. Very important.
And by the way, Prof, when I go for interviews, when I give examples like this, that's why I was telling people that at some point I got 8 jobs at the same time. Because when I tell the agency I'm fine, oh, they said just do the interview, you might decide to move. 8 jobs are the same because I give examples. There are times when I go for interview, they'll say, oh, before I even finish one question, they say, oh, that's the next question I was going to ask you. So an interview that was meant to take 30 minutes, sometimes we just do it for less than 10 minutes.
One of you here,
because of the examples.
One of you here got another job, and they said, bring reference. He provided the people name reference, they haven't sent the reference. They were begging the person, you know what, we won't wait for your reference. If I just bring character reference.
Yes.
He said, bring character reference. Say, because we need you right now as at yesterday. We need you right now. So the person contacted me. Is it character reference? I wrote it very fast. In fact, I haven't even signed it. I said just go through it. If it's okay, then that kind of. He said, I've already sent it to, and they said I should come and collect computer tomorrow. And the person went to come. You see, what I'm saying, if it is that you just need to know what nowadays they don't even look at CV, they look at what you can say.
Yes.
Mouth. And then
they know that more than 85% of CVs 95%. Exactly.
95%. Because at the end of the day, there are people who will write a CV, they will even take from their CV, they don't even know what is in their CV in an interview, because
Oh, yes.
so, but when you are well grounded in this kind of, because before any of you will go for an interview, definitely you're going to meet me, unless you don't want to meet me. So I want to make sure I prepare you for the same really specific interview. And when you go and come back, you will say, wow, every question you ask, that's every question you prepare me for, that's what the answer. And don't be afraid. Don't be afraid.
Yeah.
It's simple. Okay. All right. That's the last question I've asked you people. What is data analytics? I have about 200 questions here about data governance for those who are preparing for interview. And those who are here, who just here and take advantage of it, because there are about 3 of you right here need to join the new cohort. And I think about 4 of you need to join new cohort to be brought up from beginning to this level. And some of you here have not finished 2 assignments. And then those who are getting their certificate across now, thank you, bravo. And going to the other certificate, I have sent those who are preparing for certificate, I have sent links across. Come back with your certificate. I want to know what you have so that when job comes, I know where I can send people to. And don't fail to do your certificate, do your training, get those training, get the certificate, and then prepare your CV for you transition and pre-ACV that suit the post you are going for. Very, very important. And above all, who is Samsung SMA? Can you get in touch with me or just send me your number now? Because I know you just send something to me now. Okay, send it to me. And okay, I just send across. Barrister, your hand is up. So
Oh, sorry, that's historic hands. Ignore.
Okay, so that's descriptive, yeah. So
yeah,
the answer to the question, what is data analytics? Is data analytics involves examining data set to draw conclusion about the information they contain using statistical and computational techniques. And those statistics are the data that you will use to visualize after cleansing them. Do ETL or ELT on them. That is not a problem at all. So, have you learned something today?
Absolutely.
Have you learned something today, Ramson?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
It's a pleasure. Make sure you speak to me later as well.
Definitely, sir. I'll do that. I'll call you later.
Sean, have you learned something today?
Yes, I have.
Good, good. I'm proud of you. You finished one, your certificate now. You're doing the other one, and when you finish, let me know. And I'm very proud of you. Yeah. Paulage, have you learned something today?
I've I've learned so much and I've missed so much.
No, this is the beginning of it, and you know, pause phone is a pause. Who is a Paul? Paul, because we have some Paul. Yeah, Paul. Have you learned something today, Paul? Yeah, Mary, have you learned something today?
I think, sorry, just to add, I'm not sure if people read my the chart I left there.
Okay.
We always say that data governance is not rocket science, and so it is for other subjects or professional courses or courses. If you remember the word, just remember analytic or analysis, analytical, and try to relate it. The English language meaning, relate it to examples of things in data governance, and there you are, you get a job. Yeah. Just remember prescriptive. What is the meaning of prescriptive? What is the meaning of real time? These things are not rocket science. It's something that you could actually display, show your proficiency when you go for interview. Just remember the words. And like we always say, we use acronyms. Those acronyms actually help you to remember. You could just put some words together. Put some the first letter of the words together and use it to form something. And with that, smart. When you go for interview, things like that, and you'll be fine. And you get things like this from this class.
Thank you.
Because you've got a lot of people that have gone through things like. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Sorry, I'm talking too much.
No, it's highly needed.
Thank you, Barrister.
Yeah. So
thank you.
Get my number and send a message, and we can talk. We have other people here. I know you people are sending private something to me. Please get in touch with me. Whatever you need, we're gonna provide them for you. So very important. And if you don't get in touch with me, how would I know that you need something? Okay. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. Thanks for coming. And I'll see you. And then I have to leave now. When I say people should send me review, not only about 3/4 of you will send review. I want everyone to send review of training today, what you have enjoyed, and it helps us to build ourselves up. Okay. All right. I know all of you here, so I should be expecting review from all of you. See you, Tony Omigi. Tony Omigi. Who is Tony Omigi?
Yeah, that's me, Tony Omigi. Good evening, and thank you so much for this lesson.
It's a pleasure. Tony.
Yes.
Chief Doctor Professor Reverend Tony.
You're giving me many titles.
Tony, you keep on changing. Anyway, all right. So, Tony.
Pastor, you should know Tony.
The one that I always want to